Coach, Vanderbilt's playing better. I know you're aware of that. Obviously beat Arkansas last night. So what are you expecting to see from them? They seem to have hit their stride here going into February.
Yeah, I think first off, you're going to see a very scrappy team. They're going to play hard. They've got 3 players in particular right now that are really scoring well and have the capabilities of putting up big numbers. That's 2 guards that can shoot, that can put the ball on the floor and finish at the rim, and their post player. And I think the other players on the court are doing their roles right now. So they've mixed up their defenses throughout the season, man, zone, matching up, just some variations, different things. But they're going to play hard. They're going to have a great game plan, and they're going to be aggressive on both ends of the court.
Frank.
Coach, what does it mean to you, and what do you think it means to this conference to have Texas and Oklahoma joining in really no time at all?
Well, we have another season, and then they'll be on board. Obviously, for us specifically, that's 2 very good women's basketball programs. So you're just bringing in 2 more high level, elite level women's basketball teams to an already tough SEC league.
You had a week of practice at this point in the season. How valuable was that for you guys to just kind of regroup, rest? And what have you kind of heard from the players when it comes to just like a morale standpoint? Because obviously Monday was a kind of a heartbreaker for them. What have you heard from them that's encouraging at this point?
Yeah, I think they still believe in this team. I think that's the first thing that's good to hear. And I think that's honest. I think that's really sincere. I do think it's been productive, an extra practice day and an extra day off when you get a bye day. Now we'd have had another extra something if we'd have played on Sunday, but we played on Monday. So it's 1 extra day off and 1 extra practice day. And I hope those are both valuable mentally and physically. We really got after it on the court on Wednesday. Thursday was an off day. Tuesday was an off day. And then today, Friday, is a big practice day. We're going to get after it again today. And I think those are good for us to really continue to push them. And as long as they'll continue to allow us to push them and to still believe, to still have that, I think the morale is good. It's a tough stretch. It just is. It's just a tough stretch. You can look a lot of teams across the country this time of year have to regroup, and hopefully our team can bounce back from Monday.
Casey.
Coach, what do you think this team needs to implement a little bit more to be able to come out on top in these games that do come down to the wire? I know there's no special recipe, but what are some things that you guys are looking at, working on, moving forward to be able to finish on top in those really, really tight games?
Well, when you go back and review the film with the team, it is the basics for us. It really is. It is our base defense. It is our effort on the boards, and it is us taking care of the basketball. It is us taking good shots, moving the basketball. It's not magic. You just have to be consistent. And in that game in particular, just talking about the Mississippi State game, we had 23 turnovers, that a lot of those led to opportunities on the other end. And you just have to clean those up and understand every night's going to be tough. And a 1-point game, it could have been anything. It could have been any little stat, one little play that made the difference.
Maria.
Coach, the top 16 seeds, of course, came out yesterday evening at halftime of one of the late games. I know you did not expect at this point to be in that 1 through 4 block. 2 of the number 1 seeds have losses to unranked teams and are still 1 seeds, which just speaks to the parity of what women's basketball is right now. Do you even look at that right now? Do you see opportunity to move up, or are you just, you're smiling, I can see, are you just like locked in on Vanderbilt Sunday?
I'll be honest with you, Maria, I haven't even had a chance to look at it. I know it came out. I know a few know where a few teams are, but I literally haven't even pulled it up. I'm, in my own little world right now, which is the Lady Vol world. We're just, we're here. I'm basically focused on our practice. I'm basically focused on our team, what our team needs to do, and what we need to do against Vanderbilt. So at some point, I'll look at it and kind of dissect it and things. But when you do what you're supposed to do, when you take care of business, all the other stuff takes care of itself. And I think that's what we have to worry about. We got to worry about what we can control. We talk about that as a team. Control the you control the controllables. Take care of what you can take care of, and the rest will come.
Quick follow-up. Obviously, this format this year is 2 regionals instead of the 4. Do you have any take on that? What's your opinion of going to that format?
Yeah, I don't know yet. I mean, I understand the thought process behind it. So I think we'll have a better feel for what that's like, what it feels like after we go through what these regionals are. And, I think the thought behind it is to get more people there, more teams in one area, maybe makes for a better venue. So hopefully that will be the case.
Laura.
Kelly, I want to kind of ask you about something you just said about how it could have been one play or one thing on Monday. Have you seen that kind of, I don't know, motivate the team, knowing that it's just, you're so close. Like, it's just one thing. It's not hard to fix. It could have been anybody's, play that we could have capitalized on better. Have you seen that kind of light a fire in them this week? I know you've only had one practice, but.
Yeah, well, yes. And I think I've seen a little bit of frustration with that as well, because I feel like we are saying the same things now. We've said the same things after our UConn loss and after LSU loss as well. And I think our players understand it, but now, the last inch is a mile type thing. It's one play, it's that 1 inch, but the effort and the focus and the consistency that it's going to take to get that last inch is not easy. And that's where we've got to figure out a way to get there.
Casey.
Coach, your team has faced so much adversity, and a lot more than these other teams that you're going to see, especially as you go into the postseason and go into March Madness. How prepared do you think that they are compared to maybe some other teams that you might face that haven't gone through the trials and tribulations that you guys have?
Well, I hope that it gives our team confidence. I think it does. I think I think it gives them something to walk out and know they've got with that confidence. I think we're still building. I really do. I think there's a lot that can still be done with this basketball team. And it's just gonna take all of us pulling together. It's going to take us getting the right practices, getting the right, having the right pulse of the team for the team, and knowing exactly where we need to push. So I think, your preparation and your experience over the year long haul is what gives you that confidence late.
Maria.
Coach, going back to you talking about game situations, shot selection, I've often said there can be a thin line between trying to help your team and not making a good decision. And that seems to be coming up in some of these really close games. How can that be fixed in season? I mean, how do you approach that with a player where, you don't want to get a player hesitant to shoot, but at the same time, you also want a player making a good decision, especially in a 1 or 2 possession game?
Yeah, I think we always do that. So I don't think, doing it late is any different than doing it in November. We talk through, was this good? Was this not? I think we're constantly trying to help educate our players and trying to help continue to build their IQ, their basketball IQ. And that's, just talking through, hey, was this a good look at this point of the game, at this, is this something we need to take? Because I think sometimes if you shoot the wrong shot at the wrong time, that's as bad as a turnover. And, you gotta take some of that with a grain of salt. You obviously don't want your players I don't want our players hesitant. I don't. I want our players confident and aggressive. So, but if it's something that you've talked about already, it's not anything new. I think we can continue with that education.
Laura.
Kelly, you said your team is still building in regards to, getting to March. There's only 5 games left. Is there anything that sticks out to you as something that this is the most important thing for us to improve on collectively before we get to March?
I think being consistent with our turnovers. We've had some really good games this year where we were low turnover, took care of the ball. And then we've had some that it's really hindered our opportunity to win. So I think just finding the consistency there. I still think our board work we can continue to work on. And then I think the biggest area is our defense. It's our team defense. It's our one-on-one defense. It's our finishing with our rebounding. So there's a lot there, whether that's adding new things, putting wrinkles in, or just getting good at what we're supposed to be good at. So there's a lot there, but I think that's the area that we have the most room for improvement.
Frank.
What is a strength of this team that maybe you didn't expect to be a strength going into this season?
See, now I'm not very good at this answer because I have such high expectations. There are never any surprises for me. I always want more. So I struggle with that individually. I struggle with that as a team. They haven't gotten to a point where I'm like, oh, didn't see this coming. I think maybe it's hard. We've had, I think early on or somewhere early in January, we had some really good ball movement and our assists were really high. Not that I didn't see that coming, but I was happy about that.
Maria.
Coach, two-part question. One, Jordan Worston, you're going to run out of ice bags to put on her body probably after games at this point. We could see her sort of messing with that shoulder at the end of the Mississippi State game. Just what is her status? And then the Peak game, of course, coming up to benefit, KYAL's foundation. What does that mean to you and your team to be able to have that game?
Yeah. Jordan is kind of day to day, to be honest with you. I think she's okay. She practiced a little bit. We limited her a little bit on Wednesday, but she got out there. So we'll get in practice today and see how she's doing. This game, it's the Play for K game, and it is our opportunity to bring awareness to it started with breast cancer and then it's women's cancers. And I think, it can be broader, cancers in general. And, I think it was the first real initiative that the WBCA, Women's Basketball Coaches Association, really picked up and hung on to as our collective, a charity of choice, so to speak. And I think, one of the things when I think about it, when I think about this game, everybody has a story. Everyone has been touched by breast cancer, whether it is you are a survivor, you have lost someone, or someone. And I think that's why it resonates so well with the community and with the women's basketball community, is because we all have a story. There is someone that we can go to, we can think of that elicits emotions and anger, right? Because we're still fighting this. So I think it's a great cause to continue to bring awareness, fight, and obviously funding.
Kelly, Vanderbilt is one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the conference. You guys have had some really good defensive games from the perimeter and some that weren't as great. What have you seen that has helped you guys in those games where, like Georgia, you hold them to 0 3-pointers, or LSU when it's only 3? What has led to that success for you guys?
Well, I think our awareness. I think we're a better defensive team when we are thinking ahead of our opponent. When you're reactive, the offense has an advantage. you know, if it's for you as a defender to have an advantage, you've got to be ahead of the offense. You've got to be forward thinking. Our one-on-one defense really can change the complexion of our perimeter defense behind the three. When you're allowing straight line drives from all areas of the court, then it opens up opportunities for penetrate and kick, for rotations, for missed assignments. So I think our on the ball defense, it starts with our on the ball defense. We've got to do a better job of limiting straight line drives.
Take 2 more questions, starting with Casey.
Coach, when you look at Rakia Jackson from the beginning of the season till now, whether it's on the court or off the court, what do you think some of her biggest improvements has been just as a teammate?
I think she's been consistent. I think that's been a big area. You know, she's been more consistent on the boards. She's been more consistent defensively. I think she scores not every night. She can find a way to put points on the board, but I think the biggest area of improvement, in my opinion, is her consistency in the other areas. She has the ability to influence the game in so many ways. You know, it's just you know, a matter of doing it every possession, and I think she has the ability to do that. And I think we've seen much longer stretches where she does that.
We've seen a full court press at times in recent games. Just wanted your thoughts on, you know, what about it has looked good to you? What about it do you want to see improvements on? And could that be valuable to you guys on Sunday with Vanderbilt's very short bench?
Yeah, I think if you look at our press, I think we've done some good things with it. There are times that I don't know if we have matched up well out of it. I think that that's hindered us a few times in a few possessions. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, you're able to do the next thing well if the press breaks down. And then in terms of Vanderbilt, you know, when you talk about teams having small benches, this is nothing new to them. This is not something that they just figured out they have small, but they've had it all season. So anything you throw at them is not going to really change how they play or how tired or run down they're going to be. You're just not going to do it at this point in the season with a team that's played that way all year long. They're used to it, and they can. Now, I'm not saying that we can't run a press. I'm not saying we can't be effective there. I'm just, for those purposes, I just don't know if it's as beneficial as people might think just off the cuff.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you Sunday.
See you guys Sunday.